Hello students, we are meeting again here for a social science class in which we were discussing geography chapter number 5, composition and structure of the atmosphere. In my previous video, that is video number 1, we have already discussed in brief what are we going to study in this chapter. Now in my video number 2, we are going to discuss the composition of the atmosphere. We have already covered what is atmosphere. Today we are only going to stress on the composition of the atmosphere. What are the features of the composition of the atmosphere? So let us just begin our today's class. Now first of all, what is atmosphere we have done? Now it is a mixture of gases. The air, that is a mixture of gases, water vapor, dust particles and smoke. Now the main gases which are present in the air is nitrogen and oxygen. If I talk about the percentage, nitrogen constitutes 78% and oxygen constitutes 21%. Apart from these two gases, there are other gases also which are present in the atmosphere. If you saw this diagram, a pie chart which has been made, which is showing the percentage of the gases in the atmosphere. You can see this purple color, that is the nitrogen, the major gas, the main gas which is present and which constitutes 78%. Then in blue color you can see oxygen, which is 21%. Then here in red one you can see argon, carbon dioxide, and then yellow you can see all others. Okay, so these are the basic composition of the gases which are present in the atmosphere. Now the other gases which are present in the atmosphere are carbon dioxide, helium, ozone, hydrogen, argon, and these all gases, they constitute 1%. Alright. Now, talking about the lower layer of the atmosphere, it contains water vapor, dust particles and oxygen. Oxygen is also found in the lower part only. That is why mountaineers, they also have to carry oxygen cylinders with them. Why do you think that they need to carry oxygen cylinders? Because when they climb mountains, that as the altitude increases, the amount of oxygen level in the atmospheric air decreases and trees are not found at higher altitudes. Now before starting the importance of the gases which are present in the atmosphere, let us just have a quick recap of what all we studied or what all we understood in the gases which are present in the composition of the atmosphere. Now we know that the most of the air constitutes of nitrogen, which is followed by oxygen, and then there is water vapor, argon and CO2. Then apart from that, if we talk about the percentage, there is 78% of nitrogen in the atmosphere, 21% of oxygen in the atmosphere. Then carbon dioxide, helium, argon, ozone and hydrogen, they are found in lesser quantities. Not only this, tiny dust particles are also present in the air. Then water vapor, dust particles and oxygen, they are found in the lower layer of the atmosphere. So this is all that we have done till now. Now we will be moving towards the importance of the gases. We have already studied what are the gases which are present in the atmosphere. Now we'll try to understand what are the importance of those gases which are present in the atmosphere. We will be studying about nitrogen, oxygen and carbon dioxide. We will be starting with nitrogen. Now you all must be wondering why nitrogen is the most important gas, why it constitutes 78%. We take oxygen, right? Then who takes nitrogen from the atmosphere? I guess you all have already studied in science that nitrogen is required by plants for the growth. but you know that they do not take nitrogen directly from the air. There is some nitrogen fixing bacteria which is present in the soil, which is present in the roots, which absorb the nitrogen and then change its form. Now that changed form is used by the plants. I am telling you once again, please listen very carefully. See, plants, they get their nitrogen from the soil and not directly from the air, okay, because plants cannot absorb directly from the air. There is nitrogen fixing bacteria in roots which absorb the nitrogen and change its form. Clear? So if you can see in this diagram, I have pasted one picture here. I have shown you one picture in which I am telling you about the plant fixing nitrogen. The roots, the soil which are absorbing the nitrogen from the air, they are changing its form, and then changed form, it is used by the plants for their growth. Now this is the first importance of nitrogen. There is one more important thing for which nitrogen is used. Can you think what is that another thing? See, the atmospheric nitrogen, it is also used to manufacture chemical fertilizers. Clear? So what did we understand in nitrogen? We studied about two important uses of nitrogen. First one, that was by plants. Under it we studied that plants, they do not take directly from the air. There is nitrogen fixing bacteria which is present in the soil and the roots, which change its form, and then it is used by the plants. Another importance we studied that it is used to manufacture chemical fertilizers. I hope we are done with nitrogen. Should we move to the other important gas now? Alright. So we will be moving to oxygen. Oxygen, I believe everyone knows that it is the most important gas. Why it is the most important gas? Because we need it to survive. About 21% of Earth's atmosphere is oxygen. We humans, along with many other creatures, need oxygen to stay alive. Now, you know, oxygen is there in the air which we breathe to survive. Now, you know, there is a process called photosynthesis in which green plants absorb carbon dioxide and they release oxygen. If you can understand with the diagram that I have shown here, the green plants, they absorb the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and then they release the oxygen, and that oxygen is used by us to survive. Not only this, I mean, it is very important for us to survive, but there is one more, another important usage of oxygen, and that is, it is essential for combustion. Do you know what is combustion? I think you all have studied in this in science, because these all are scientific terms which is coming here when we are talking about these gases. So I'm using this so that I'm explaining you so that you don't get confused. But this thing you all have already done in science. Combustion, I'm telling you once again in case anyone doesn't know about it. Combustion is a scientific word for burning. And why do you think oxygen is essential for combustion? Now, combustion, we know that it is the scientific word for burning. Now, the question comes, why is oxygen essential for combustion? See, air contains about 21% of oxygen. This we have already done. I think you will never forget the percentage of nitrogen and oxygen in the atmosphere. So, air contains about 21% of oxygen, and most fire, they require at least 16% oxygen content to burn. So it supports the chemical process that occur during fire. That is why I said that oxygen is essential for combustion. Clear? So we are done with nitrogen, we are done with oxygen. Now we will see the another important gas, which is carbon dioxide. Now, why is carbon dioxide important? Anybody? Carbon dioxide, it is important because of its ability to absorb heat. You know, it absorbs the heat. It is also responsible for the greenhouse effect on Earth. You know what is greenhouse effect? Greenhouse effect, it is a natural process that warms up the earth's surface. Now when the sun's energy, it reaches the earth's atmosphere, some of it is reflected back to space and the rest is absorbed by the greenhouse gases. These absorbed energy warms the atmosphere and the surface of the earth. This I have also told you in my video number 1 when we were discussing about how does the atmosphere maintains the temperature, why it keeps the day warm and night also warm, otherwise we would be shivering in cold. This we have, I think you know, remember, right? We discussed in video number 1. So this is what is greenhouse effect. Now you know the amount of carbon dioxide is increasing in the environment. We also listen this in news, we see in the newspaper, we hear from people that the amount of CO2 in the atmosphere is increasing a lot. Now why do you think it is increasing? What are the reasons behind it? The first and the foremost reason is deforestation. Right? You have studied this term, deforestation, cutting down of forest. Deforestation is the main reason for the increment or for the increase of the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Apart from deforestation, there is burning of fuels like coal and petroleum. These are the different reasons why the amount of carbon dioxide is increasing in the environment. Okay, so with this we are done with the composition of the atmosphere. Let us just have a quick recap on what all we studied today. So let us go a little back. Okay, so we started with what is atmosphere, what are the mixtures. We we had seen this diagram in which we saw about nitrogen, oxygen and other gases. Then we discussed about the percentage of these two gases. Then we discussed there are other gases also like carbon dioxide, helium, ozone, argon and hydrogen which was present in the atmosphere. Oxygen, I told you, it is found in the lower layer of the atmosphere. After that we started with the importance of the gases which are present in the atmosphere, in which first we discussed about the nitrogen which is required by plants. Then we studied about oxygen which we require to survive. After oxygen we studied about carbon dioxide which is required, which is important to absorb the heat. So these were the different gases which we studied today. Now based on today's video, I am giving you a small assignment. Your assignment is question number 1. Which gas is required for the plants for growth? Okay, which gas is required by the plants for the growth? Question number 2. What is global warming? Now I have already told you about the greenhouse effect. I have already told you about why the amount of carbon dioxide is increasing. Now you have to relate all these things and you have to write what did you understand by global warming. How are the things which I have explained you today in carbon dioxide are related with the term global warming. This you have to do on your own. Question number 3. Name the gases present in the atmosphere. You only have to name the gases which are present in the atmosphere. Clear? So this is all for the day. We will be meeting again, in which we will be discussing about the structure of the atmosphere. Till then, all of you, please take good care of yourself, watch the video again and study well. Bye bye students, take care.